At what age are you too old for Snapchat? Because I'm thinking about that now, right? I'm a junior. I got one more year left, right?
Yeah.
And it's like college, it's like, all right, that makes sense. Snapchat's a thing. It's prevalent. Like it's also just a big part of communication. And then I get it, like, out of college, but I'm like, when do you think 27, 28?
I don't get it out of college. I really don't.
You think it's got to go?
I think like summer after you graduate, done, cut it off.
Really?
Like right now, so I'm a sophomore and I'm already pretty sick of it.
When you first meet someone, right? You're like, okay, that person's cute. Like your first thought is like, all right, I got to keep conversation going, right? And that's when you have Snap where you're just like, and you're like, where are you from? What do you do?
All I'm hearing now is like my older guy cousins in my ear being like, you are almost 20 years old. Like if you are out and someone asks you for your Snapchat, run. Like I do have a handful of older cousins and like they have all, granted, some of them need to take their own advice because I think some of them have Snapchat even though they are 27.
Yeah.
But I do, like, some of them are in, like, really successful long-term relationships, and they're like, if someone asks you for your Snapchat, they are not the maturity level you need them to be.
They're not confident enough to, it is a confidence maturity thing. Yeah. Do you think you need a little small talk, or do you think you can go straight to, like, hey, like, should we hang out?
I think small talk is good.
A little bit, but over text?
But again, you can small talk on iMessage. Like, there's no issue with that.
Right,
I don't know. I think it's constantly a fine line of like being bold and being safe, but like the being bold gets you in the door with the iMessage. Like, I would certainly be taken aback if someone was like, "Hey, can I have your number?" That's just not normal. But then I would be like, "Okay, great. Like, got it started." But then we're on iMessage and you're like, "Okay, yeah, hey, like, where are you from? Like, do you have siblings? Whatever." And like that can warm you up in a different way. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, being bold it's more exciting, gets people's attention more.
Yeah.
People like bold people.
And people being bold on Snapchat just comes off weird more times than not.
Yeah, it comes off more like frat guy. This is Building the Blueprint, and it's all about education and entertainment. Self-help content is great, but it gets really, really boring. And every single week, I have an important and successful guest. And not only do we shoot the shit, but we have insightful conversations. So you both laugh and learn at the same time. I hope you stick around, because this is Building the Blueprint. What's more of a red flag?
Okay.
You use your towel for a week at a time without washing it, right? So same towel for a week, or same bed sheets for the term?
Bed sheets for the term.
Really?
Yeah.
How
often do you wash your towel?
I low-key would say towel.
How often do you wash your towel?
I would say I use the same towel like 4 times out of 4 days.
How many towels do you own? I'll put it that way.
I own 3.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't think I need 3, but I have 3. Sorry, is there something in my nose?
No.
Okay, good. Sorry, that's my worst fear is like...
That's another thing is I'm the person who, if you have something in your teeth, if you have anything in your nose, like I will tell you, especially if you're being recorded. That's insane when people don't.
That's the worst when I look back at look back at the pod and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, yeah, oh, it's the worst.
No, I totally get that. And I'm always fidgeting too. And like sometimes I'm in here alone and not with other people. So then I'm constantly like checking in the camera to make sure I'm like, don't have anything on my nose. So
yeah. How often do you wash your sheets then? Because I'm just bad at it.
I try to do like twice a term. Like, I don't know, like because that's about like once a month, like every 5 weeks. I try, I minimum do twice a term, but I aim for 3. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
But I'm also like not the best with it. I don't know. But I'm better with my towel, but I only have 1 towel.
Here's my thought process. Okay. If you're bad at doing laundry, like you don't do it, own 1 towel.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to have to do laundry more often.
I feel really understood right now because I mean, I did have 2 towels at the beginning of the year and then someone stole it because I'm not just living with like a tight group of friends. Yeah, I'm in the house. So even though I like everyone, I don't necessarily trust that everyone's not going to steal my towel. Right. So I don't know who it was, but I know I had 2 towels at the beginning of the year because now I'm stressed and need to wash it so often.
We have a whole thing going on where I'm in the 959 and it's our apartment, and then above us is all our buddies are in another apartment. Okay. And like it's constant gaslighting of we don't have your shit. Yeah. It's like I like walk up and I was like, that's my like candle lighter. And he goes, no, it's not. And I go, no, I have the same one. He's like, well, multiple people can have a purple candle lighter. And then I find out like a week later, like they're just straight up lying. Yeah, yeah. And like we have a total war of like who has what from each other's apartments.
You need to start writing down. Like I know
Start signing things?
Yeah, no, to, like, keep track of where they are. My older sister does this because she's a particularly avid, like, lender, and people just borrow her stuff all the time, and so she loses track of it, but then a lot of people, if you don't hound them for it, like, they won't get back to you.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I will hound them for it. Like, I know where my stuff is at all moments in time. I was just telling my friend she borrowed my shirt a month ago, and I never forgot that she had it, and I was like, "Hey, can you return it?" She was like, "I don't think I have it." I was like, "Respectfully, you do, and I know you do. Can you please look for it?" And she found it eventually, but she still didn't give it back to me. And so then I asked her the following week, and I was like, "Hey, like, did you find my shirt?" She was like, "Yeah, I'll give it to you." She hasn't, but it's one of my favorites, so I'm not leaving school without it.
I'm definitely a bit of a pushover at times, where I'm like, "It's fine. It's not that deep." Because like my dad was always like that, or he was like, my dad was just like, "I don't care. I don't care."
Yeah.
And then like the confrontation aspect of it, I'm if it's important, like obviously I want my shit.
It's definitely awkward, but I just do remind myself, like, at the end of the day, it's not like I'm in any kind of wrong. So it's like, especially when I pay for things.
Yeah.
So if I'm the one instead of, I don't know, a Christmas gift like a family member got me or something, I will keep track of it, but I definitely notice myself feeling like I have more at stake and wanting it back more when I paid for it and it came out of my own pocket.
Yeah.
Which is maybe bad, but
fair enough. Sadie, well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having
me. We're
me.
excited to have you. Listeners, Sadie is great. Sadie is the host of the Hear Me Out podcast. You're a fellow student, an aspiring author, pliable expert.
Oh my God, you were on my LinkedIn.
I was on your LinkedIn, and a copy editor at the Emerald Group.
Yes.
I'm excited to have you. I have no idea how loud this is going to be. Okay, we're good.
Okay, it's not too loud.
I realized I didn't check it before, and I got nervous for a second.
All good.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. The playa note on there of like all the other jobs is really funny.
I thought you would enjoy that.
Yes.
I saw the 3 years shift leader in charge of 30 people.
Yes.
So I was like, all right, you've got to have it. It's like an acai thing.
Yeah, it's like an acai smoothie bowl shop. It's like on the boardwalk in Jersey. So if you've seen like Jersey Shore and they talk about the boardwalk, like that's what I work on. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen it in passing a few times.
Yeah. Ocean View, can't beat it. Not going back this year. I had to move on. End of an era for sure.
They're going to miss you.
Yes.
They're going to miss you.
Yes.
Well, okay. My first dying question is like, why did you want to be on the internet? Why are you on the internet? Because for me, like I started making TikToks, right?
Okay.
And I hated it. But I started making TikToks because I was like, oh, I kept getting these motivational things.
Yeah.
Or I'd see these like finance dads on walks, like giving tips.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that'd be kind of fun. I could do that. And I kind of just naively didn't really think about it. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And I posted a couple. And like, that's kind of just how it started.
Yeah.
Like, how did it start for you?
How did it start for me? Let's see. I would say COVID. Like many things for people, I feel like. Mine, I was definitely in a rough spot before COVID, and the quarantine hit me pretty hard. And in order to kind of like get myself out of this rut, I actually made a health Instagram, and you can still find it. It's up now, but it's private because I made it just for the girls and the gays, for lack of a better term. Like it was all like my closest friends and stuff. And then I ended up expanding it a little bit, but I still just wanted to keep it like a safe space for girls. And so I started this in COVID. It's called Simply Sadie. And it basically was just me making meals and doing workouts and holding myself accountable during quarantine, but also developing a healthy relationship around those, because I realized I went to an all-girls private school for high school. And so the narrative around like working out and food wasn't always the best. And so I created this when we all actually had time to then like make our meals and all this stuff. And I also made it kind of like a mental health thing, just like overall well-being. And it definitely started off as keeping myself accountable for things and just fixing my relationship with things. And then it expanded to be like a safe space for other people. And then in that, I don't know, I just figured out that I liked to curate feeds and I liked to make community. I feel like that's the biggest thing that I enjoy, is the community aspect of it. But then I just kind of started messing around with YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, and like I don't really do that stuff as much anymore. Again, I kind of like to dabble and like to have certain eras for things, and because I do like to give all of my attention to one thing when I do it, and so it's hard to have some like, do all of this stuff, like, on your own, have, like, 80 trillion pages of stuff. So yeah, I had the Instagram, and then I went to YouTube, and then now I'm kind of just on the podcast, and that, again, was just because I kind of wanted to create my own safe space, my own community, and make my own rules when it comes to just, like, being on the internet, but then also learning skills and stuff because yes, although I have emphasized community, it's a huge technical thing. So learning how to edit and be time efficient, I don't know, even just like sound systems and cameras and troubleshooting 24/7 because like that's my
It's a
life.
lot of troubleshooting.
Yeah,
It's a lot of patience.
100%. And so I've definitely become a more patient person. And I think a more confident person too, because there's definitely an aspect of when you put yourself on the internet, everyone can see it.
That was the scariest part, and that's why I hated it at first. What did your friends think when you first started doing it?
So
They give you shit for it? Were they like, "Good for you"? Did they not care?
Instagram in particular, that was always like a tough subject. It was one of those things where it's like, if you're making fun of me for it, like you're a dickhead. You know what I mean? Because it was a private account and it was, like I said before, like with the great intention of like basically just trying to get through quarantine
Mhm.
and get through the hard times and like make it a community for other people. But then I will say, like, when that started getting more followers, like people started making jokes about it. My not necessarily friends, but I mean, word travels fast and drama's big in all girls high school. And so like I definitely had to turn my head when people would be like, "Oh, like simply Sadie, like blah blah blah." But honestly, throughout it all, I've had for every like one person who might talk shit or make fun, whatever, there's two other people who have had my back and who have been really motivational and just supportive with it all. So I just find that focusing on those two people, and then also my biggest thing is um, realizing that things are only embarrassing if I let them be embarrassing.
Mm.
And so, like, if okay, like, if someone does make fun of me for having a podcast, think I'm some kind of, like, knockoff Emma Chamberlain, like, I'm not trying to be that, like, I'm not necessarily trying to make a career out of this. This is just because I enjoy it and I want to fill my time with, like, big goals and stuff. So, like, I am just kinda like, "Okay, check," like, you might say whatever, but if you like, I won't let you embarrass me, and, like, I have control of, like, any narrative here, and, like, I can embarrass myself enough, like, I don't need to feel embarrassed by you 'cause I'm constantly in, like, a humbling myself loop, I feel like. I don't know if you feel the same.
I've had so many moments where I'm like, "Oh, I don't like this outfit," or "What did I just say?" And I'm like, "I've done way worse that's posted online
Yeah,
forever. I'm
yeah,
gonna be alright."
you're
But
gonna be alright.
it's so interesting when you start posting, and it's also really interesting when you really start diving into, like, justifying it to yourself and thinking about it,
Mhm.
because, like you said, there's so many ways to look at it of like, "Okay, yeah, I'm getting shit for it,
Yeah,
but also I'm getting to see who really cares about me and who's, like,
yeah,
kind of a dickhead, like, who's
100%.
who's real and who's not."
Yeah,
Um, it's also I kinda liked the idea when I was really thinking about it of like, okay, like, one of my things was like, okay, well, like, people I like, people who are like, quote unquote, even like cool, right? Because that was
mhm,
one of the things I was playing with in my mind. I was like, okay, like, I'm getting shit for making for doing TikToks, right? Or having a
yeah,
podcast. And I was like, okay, that's not cool, right? That's not popular. That's
yeah,
weird. And I was like, okay, well, like, what makes someone cool or popular,
mhm,
right? And I was like, what makes them cool or popular is they're very true about who they are. They're like, hey, I do this whether you like it or not, right?
yeah,
And then we're like, people draw to that because they're like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
this person's so cool. Like, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no one has gotten anywhere in life from giving a fuck. Like,
Mm.
100%. And I feel so passionately about this, and so, like, anytime I mean, I can't say that I never let it get to me, but I certainly don't let it get to me a lot more now than I used to, and I feel like each day is just a step away from, like, what I care about, and, like, not what I care about, like, because I do care about a lot of things, but specifically in, like, how much I care about what other people say and finding ways to tune that out, and again, just, like, focusing on, like, who really is there for you, but really no one has been successful, no one has been a multimillionaire from copying someone else's idea front to back. Like, even if you borrow ideas from other people, or, like, whatever the case is, like, you have to bring something new to the table and you have to be original, and if you care what other people think and you're just uncomfortable with
with the
being
norm.
uncomfortable, yeah, like you're not going to get anywhere. And that's totally fine. It's totally fine if that's the narrative that you want to be. I don't know, like, but especially in like creative industries, or if you want to be like an entrepreneur, like you do have to figure out how to not care. I don't know.
The more you do you, it's actually easier because you're doing things that you naturally already enjoy and are good at. And I'm curious if this is happening for you, but for me, I'm getting to a point now where the feedback is getting way more positive now. I'm getting way less of the negative stuff because I think I'm hitting a point now where people are going, "Oh, like this wasn't like a little spurt." They're like, "Oh, Nick does that, right?"
Yeah.
And it's like, "No, like this is a thing I do, like accept it or don't accept it," opposed to like, "Oh, Nick's doing TikToks now and he's going to stop doing it in 2 months," right? It's like I think because it's kind of part of who I am now, people have gotten used to it.
Yeah. I do feel that way. The majority of people hate to see consistent people, I find. There are a lot of people like preying on your downfall, and this isn't me trying to be pessimistic, because I'm always going back
Starting
to
fights right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always going back to, okay, like you do have a lot of people who want you to succeed or who are interested, but that handful of people who like hate consistency, like once they see you've posted like 15, 20 podcast episodes and like you're actually investing in the marketing for said podcast on your Instagram, or you're being consistent with those TikToks, and all of a sudden it started as what people thought was a joke, a little side hustle, and now it's like a big portion of your time, and now you've built a brand essentially, then I mean, it's just kind of like here's the receipts, like face the facts. I don't know. I'm all about just kind of consistency in small bits, and that until all of a sudden like you have a big project, portfolio, brand, whatever you want to call it, and then people will notice your hard work eventually when that all adds up, and they'll realize it's not like a side hustle when you like treat it like it was one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think people will respond to it based on like how are you communicating it, right? If I'm communicating it like, "Hey, this is what I do." Right? I'm not asking for your feedback. I'm not waiting to see if you like this or not. It's like, no, like this is a statement, it's not a question.
Yeah.
Then people are going to be more respectful of it and more intrigued by it than if you're like, "Oh, I'm starting to do this. What do you guys think?" Right? And it's like, well, then you're just like opening yourself up for vulnerability and like they're going to come at you.
100%. And I think there's definitely a time and place for feedback, but when you're starting things originally or initially, people are only going to take you as seriously as you take yourself. And so like it's all about how you want to present. And I also do think that that's not to say you can't be silly and like you can't make a brand that maybe is less serious, but it's just trying to find that balance of, even if the brand itself is more laid back, like chill, you're quote unquote riffing like we were talking about, like there's also a behind the scenes where at some point you do have to take things serious, and
but like that's your thing. Like it's like, all right,
exactly.
your thing could be silly, but you're like, hey, this is my thing. I take my thing seriously.
Exactly. Like die on that hill. That's a phrase I say all the time, is like I'm dying on this hill. And whether I'm dying alone or you're with me, like is to be seen, but I'll be there.
Yeah. One of the greatest things that for me that's come from the podcast and posting online a lot is I'm unapologetically myself more than I ever was. And I'm more comfortable being myself more than I ever was because I'm talking and expressing myself more than I ever was. Right. And I'm just more used to it of like, hey, like this is who I am. Right. As opposed to like before it was, no, like that part of myself is reserved. And now that it's on the internet and I'm doing it week to week, it's like, okay, I'm used to it and I feel more confident. Like, is that something you've found?
Yeah, definitely. Especially because like when I started off with the podcast, I didn't know if I was gonna have people on. I was back and forth if it's gonna be a solo thing. I just didn't know what direction I wanted to go with it. It all felt I don't know, intangible, but I knew I wanted to do it. And so I kind of sat down solo the first few times, and I felt like I had to be eloquent with what I was saying, and I had to have point A, B, C, wrap up, call to action, whatever. And now some episodes I don't even prepare for. I'm just like, this. I'm talking about this. I just sit down and I do it. And that's not the case always, but I would have never believed I could have done that and talked to a microphone and 100 people or whatever for 40 minutes without prepping anything.
Yeah.
But now because I'm used to the whole setup and I do feel more comfortable with myself now, it's like, all right, well, if I'm just talking about music or if I'm just talking about the books I've been reading, like, who cares? It might not even be interesting to a lot of people, but the place that I'm at with the podcast now is not necessarily trying I won't say not trying to, like, appeal to people, but I'm not trying to appeal to everyone.
Yeah, you have a selective audience, which is
Yeah.
what you should be doing. I don't know how much you read about, like, business books at all.
I don't like, I read a lot, but and I know you read a lot too, but I'm not, like, into self-help. I'm
Right.
not into,
No, I
like,
just wanted to
any
check before I didn't wanna, like, explain a concept you
Yeah,
already knew.
yeah.
But I've been reading a lot of marketing books right now.
Okay.
And one of the key concepts in a lot of these marketing books is, like, you need to be very specific
Mhm.
about who you're targeting. Because the whole idea is you should create something that is specifically for someone and
Mhm.
not for somebody else, because that creates tension of like,
Yeah.
"Hey, this is not for you, this is for them." And
Mhm.
then people go, "Okay," like, there's a clear barrier of like, "Hey, I'm creating this thing for this group of people, and that one, these people will like
Mhm.
it more because it's more cultivated for them." And then also that creates a little tension of like, "Wait, no, I kinda want that. Like, what do you mean it's not for me?"
Yeah.
And it's also just easier. It's like, "Fuck off, it's not for you." It's if you don't
Yeah.
get it, that's fine. That's
100%.
why we have the internet and there's a million podcasts in the world.
Yeah, and sometimes I am it just is a constant back and forth of when I'm always a little bit intentional, but I feel like intentionality has, levels, I guess, and so sometimes, like, if I really don't know where I'm going with something, I always just revert back to being myself, and then the audience will find it. Like, it will find its select audience. Like, sometimes I intentionally curate it, and I'm like, "I want to reach this set of people, and I'm doing this with XYZ." Other times, I'm like, "You know what? I'm just gonna talk about what I wanna talk about, and if people listen to it or, like, it'll come on their algorithm, whatever. If they stick around, that's great, and I, like, really appreciate it."
I watch the people I watch and I follow the people I follow because I like who they are,
Yeah.
right? It's like not necessarily going for the tips all the time, right? And
Mhm.
that's been a big thing in like changing my content that I'm posting recently of like,
Mhm.
all right, every video doesn't need to be, hey, try this, right? A
Mhm.
video can be, hey, here's a background of the studio today, or hey, like I just saw this, thought it was interesting, or whatever,
Yeah.
like basic things. I was like, okay, I follow these people because I like these people,
Yeah.
and I think I enjoy seeing how they move throughout the world. I think it's interesting.
Mhm.
I follow a comedian because I'm like, this guy says ridiculous shit and it's funny.
Yeah.
And then I follow a runner because I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get into running and I like that he is into all that health stuff. And I follow a
Mhm.
business person. It's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
then that's what people are actually going to listen to you for. Like you said, it's like, I'm
Mhm.
going to listen to Sadie because I enjoy how she looks at the world and moves throughout the world,
Mhm.
and not just, for the generic reasons that I think most people starting to create a brand think.
Yeah, because also, like, when you are the brand, it's a lot different than if the brand is you're selling a cup or something. So
Yeah.
this is not necessarily the case if you're promoting a certain company that it's like a tangible product and like a commodity. I don't know. I'm not a commodity. Like I'm just me and whatever. So I just kind of show up and it is what it is.
And also, I found it makes normal life less stressful because when I was only doing like self-help stuff and I was only doing like, hey, do this, try this, right? I felt really nervous. I really felt like there was this requirement when I was in the real world to be that person,
Okay.
right? So it's like if
Yeah.
all my content was, hey, like you got to wake up at 8. Hey, you got to do this and get a 4.0. Hey, like you got to be behaved. Like right then when I'm at the bars and I see people and I'm like a little, intoxicated, I'm like, I feel anxious because like, what if I do something stupid that's not in line with my brand? Because my brand is built
I
so
think about this
perfect.
all the time. I think it's very much hand in hand with, like, perception and, yeah, just feeling like you always have to be, like, switched on to whatever brand, like, you create that we're talking about, and I'm constantly wondering how people perceive me, and it's just so I know it's a smorgasbord of answers, and I just think about how, like, my family sees me back home and how like, people who I went to high school with see me and, like, all this stuff, and they've seen me in different eras of my life, but just because a lot of those eras, quote, unquote, "have been documented online," there's this vulnerability to it where they think they know you as much as they might know your interests, there's some kind of thing that can't be translated online, some kinda energy that you do need to, like, be in the room for and, like, see in different contexts, you know what I mean? So, like, before someone really knows you, like, they need to see you at the bar and on a podcast and over lunch and whatever, and but people might only see you on the podcast, and so then you feel like when you see that person, like, you have to play to the not necessarily play to their expectation, but you're aware of that expectation, and I feel awkward sometimes with that because I've had people approach me who I don't know at all. Like, even strangers will approach me
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "I recognize you from this." And I'm just, like, caught off guard, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I don't even know your name, like, you didn't lead with that."
Yeah.
But I feel like you know a very filtered part of myself. I don't know, but
Yeah. No, I get that all the time. I totally agree. Like, it's also interesting because we're on a college campus, and so much of what we post gets sent to people who are at Oregon just because of, like, how the algorithm works.
Mhm.
And I have the podcast and also do a lot of workshops. So
Mhm.
I did one for Kappa. That's how we ended
Yeah.
up meeting.
Yeah.
And so, like, I get a lot of, "Oh, you're the LinkedIn guy. You're the networking guy."
Mhm.
And it's always really interesting because they always see me in that super professional light. And then whenever I get those, "Hey, you're that guy," it's, like, almost always at a bar.
Yeah.
I kid you not, multiple times in Fathom's bathrooms, I've had, "Wait a minute. Are you the LinkedIn guy?" And then at
Yeah.
Max's bathroom, it was, "Oh, you have a podcast."
And how do you respond? Do you have a script now?
No, no. I always say, like, "Remind me your name," because it's tough. Like, I meet a lot of people, and they're like, "Nick," and I'm like, "I do not know your name."
Yeah.
And that's honestly the hardest part. I don't mind the idea that they know more about me than know about them, right? Because I think part of it is, like, I have a bit of naive in me of, like, I'm just not really clocking that of I'm not thinking too deeply about it.
Okay.
But
That makes one of us.
my whole thing with it right now is just, like, trying to have all of me in what I do, like, bits and pieces. Because, like you said, there's the professional
Mhm.
side of you and the fun side of you and the lunch side of you and the Christmas wrapping present side
Yeah.
of you. And I do my best to, like, leave at least a little bit of that in everything I do so that I don't feel there's a certain persona that has to, like, be in charge in certain areas.
Yeah.
I do think my brain is kinda well suited for this in the sense of, like, I I move really fast. Like, I
Mhm.
think I'm, like, a pretty ambitious person, so, like, I'm pretty good at planning and being a critical thinker when I need to be,
Yeah.
but I don't get too caught up in the nitty-gritty of things. I like to just be like, "Alright, we're doing it." And
Mhm.
I think that helps me in the podcast social media world sometimes,
Yeah.
where I'm not like, "Oh my gosh, this person saw it, and then this meant, and then that." The only time it's really got to me are when I'm thinking about, like, job-related stuff. That makes me nervous sometimes. I'm like, "Okay, don't
Yeah.
say anything that will implicate a job."
Yeah.
Or if I'm talking about, like, relationship stuff, because I don't wanna bring up, like, past relationship stuff and that be in the world.
Yes.
Those are, like, the
Yeah.
2 things that scare me, but otherwise, I feel fine about it.
Because I'm this is funny. Specifically the relationship thing, I agree on both fronts, but I think I'll phrase it this way. I'm a firm believer in how you leave a relationship says more about you than
Mhm.
anything else. Um, and with that, I don't know, like, we're always searching for content, like, in the social media world, and sometimes it is fun to, like, hash out old relationships. I don't know, like,
It's great tea. It's
it's
great content,
like,
but
if you texted being like, the only thing you should come forth with is a story, and I'd be lying if I didn't think about, like, a situationship I had that was just, like, insane.
yeah,
But I was like, "Okay, realistically, like, do I want that on the internet?" I don't even think it's gonna get back to that person, but that's not the point. It's more so the principle,
yeah.
and, like, I'm not dragging them necessarily. It's just insane that it was my life, and I do still think about it to this day. Not in a bad way, like, I'm not affected by it. It's more just kind of like a you sit and watch, like, this thing versus, like, feel emotionally attached to it anymore. But,
Yeah.
yeah, there's constantly a weighing pros and cons of, like, I think a lot of people will connect to this, and I think this is relatable, but also maybe I should leave it to myself for maybe the respect of other people or just because, like, yeah, a future employer might come on and know like, they might know too much in a different way than we're talking about other people, like, knowing too much in different capacities.
Yeah, for now, I'm just going with don't think about it too much, just
Yeah.
do you and wish for the best,
Yeah.
but we'll see. At what age are you too old for Snapchat? Because I'm thinking about that now, right? I'm a junior, I got 1 more year left, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, college, it's like, alright, that makes sense. Snapchat's a thing, it's prevalent, like,
Mhm.
it's also just a big part of communication. And then I get it, like, out of college, but I'm like, when do you think 27, 28?
I don't get it out of college. I really
You think
don't.
it's gotta
I
go?
think, like, summer after you graduate, done, cut it off.
Really?
Like, right now so I'm a sophomore, and I'm already pretty sick of it, and, like, I'll communicate kind of with people on there, but even then, like, I'll have close friends of mine who I've had their numbers for years, make group chats on like, if we're going somewhere or there's an event or something, they'll make group chats on Snapchat and not iMessage, and I'm just like, "Just text me, please," because 'cause I'm also a chronic do not disturb person,
Oh,
but I have people, like, select few people overriding do not disturb. And so I'm, like, presenting this luxury to you in my mind, and you're choosing not to accept it by going on Snapchat, and,
mm.
like, I don't know, I don't need to see your face all the time, and, like, sometimes it feels, like middle school still when someone sends you a picture of, like, their eye and then the ceiling, and it's just like, "Come on, I'm almost 20, like, what are we doing?"
That's fair. I'm okay, my Snap score is like 50,000. Like, I don't really use Snap,
Okay,
but I like it for group chats. Like, I'm not, like, if I'm need to text
okay.
somebody, it's like I'm not going through Snap, and I don't actually
Mhm.
snap anybody, like, daily. I'm not, like,
Yeah,
snapping people.
same.
I'm either using Snap because it's a group chat and it's just fun and I can send sillier things than I could on iMessage,
Okay.
or because, like, it just sometimes it's just a better medium opposed to, like, "Hey, let me get your number," opposed to, like, Snapchat's, like, less of a commitment
Okay.
sometimes. Like, those are
Yeah.
literally, like, honestly, the only 2 times I use it.
But honestly, it's interesting because I think Snap can be more of a commitment at times. Because in my head, like iMessage, because you're not faced with the whole like sending filler pictures of your face, it's you only text me when you have something to say. And I don't feel pressure to keep a certain conversation going.
Right.
I don't know, like let's say a new relationship and I'm just starting to get to know someone and I feel comfortable enough with you, then I won't feel like I have to like spam text you 24/7 and like always have something to say. I'm very much like I like if I'm texting you, I'm 100% there. If I'm in person with you, like I'm 100% there. Like I don't need filler. I don't need like I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't like the filler of Snapchat, and I was actually thinking about that earlier today in the sense of, like, this the idea of, like, when you first meet someone, right? You're like, "Okay, that person's cute."
Mhm.
Like, your first thought is like, "Alright, I gotta keep conversation going," right? And that's when
Mhm.
you have Snap where you're just like and you're like, "Where are you from? What do you do?" Right?
Mhm.
But it's, like, kinda boring or whatever. I feel like do you
I
think you can
have
skip that? But how
what do
do
you
you
mean?
skip that?
All I'm hearing now is like my older guy cousins in my ear being like, you are almost 20 years old, like, if you are out and someone asks you for your Snapchat, run. Like,
Mm,
I do have a handful of older cousins, and, like, they have all granted, some of them need to take their own advice because I think some of them have Snapchat even though they are 27,
yeah.
and but I do like, some of them are in, like, really successful long-term relationships, and they're like, if someone asks you for your Snapchat, they are not the maturity level you need them
They're
to
not
be.
confident enough to yeah, it is a
Yeah.
confidence maturity thing. Yeah. Do you think you need a little small talk, or do you think you can go straight to, like, "Hey, like, should we hang out?"
I think small talk is good.
A little bit, but
But
over
but
text?
again, you can small talk on iMessage. Like, there's no issue with that. I
Alright,
don't know,
alright.
I think it's constantly a fine line of, like, being bold and being safe, but, like, the being bold gets you in the door with the iMessage, like, I would certainly be taken aback if someone was like, "Hey, can I have your number?" That's just not normal, but then I would be like, "Okay, great," like, got it started, but then we're on iMessage and you're like, "Okay, yeah, hey, like, where are you from? Like, do you have siblings?" Whatever, and, like, that can warm you up in a different way, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, being bold it's more exciting, gets people's attention more.
Yeah,
People like bold people. People don't
yeah,
like, you know
and people being bold on Snapchat just comes off weird more times than not.
yeah, it comes off more like frat guy, more like
Yeah,
jock.
I don't know. I just I do have high expectations, though, I don't think I'm an average answer when it comes to
Yeah,
this.
you're I get it. So we originally met because I gave a presentation to your sorority. Which one did I do that day? Was it resume? Or was it
No,
networking?
it was networking.
It might have been LinkedIn.
It was networking because I came up to you at the end and I was like, "All right, I'm new to this, but you just gave a whole networking workshop, so, like, I'd be remiss if I didn't network and be
Right
like,
now.
oh, like, what's your LinkedIn?' or
Right, right,
whatever."
right, right, right. And we got coffee, and the main thing
Mhm.
we talked about at coffee was book and writing,
Yes. Yes.
because 'cause you're interested in writing one, and I obviously have already done
Yes.
it.
Mhm.
Do you already know what you wanna write? Or is it the idea
No.
of one day it's gonna like, it's coming?
I don't know what I want to write, and that's the issue, but also I think that Part of it is definitely a childhood dream. Like, I grew up reading these books, and with a lot of things in a lot of industries, you don't realize just how many opportunities there are within that industry. So, when I was younger, I, like, read a book and I was like, I love this so much. I wanna try to profit off of it. I have to be an author.
Yeah.
Not realizing you can be so many things and be involved in the publishing industry. So, I think part of it is definitely a childhood dream, but that I wanna capitalize on, but also, yeah, I like coming to school here, like, I'm a PR major, but I'm in the honors college and I'm a digital humanities minor, and both of those things, like, that minor's in technically under English, and it's like a liberal arts honors college technically, so I've gotten the opportunity to write a lot with that, and, like, right now I'm in a creative writing workshop course, and I intentionally like, I don't happen to wind up with those credits, like, I seek out those classes because writing takes time, as you know. Writing a book is a huge commitment, and I have a lot going on, so if it's a class, I know I'll do it, like, I'll force myself to do it. So but then again with that, with the different classes I've taken, I kind of was in the fiction route, but then I took a creative nonfiction class last year, and it really opened up my eyes to that genre and what it can be. I just associated nonfiction with, like, I don't know, self-help books or history books, like, those were never intriguing to me particularly.
No hate, no hate.
Yeah, no hate at all. Like, honestly, if you're reading, you're reading. I don't care if you're reading comic books. I always say that. People come to me and they'll be like, "I'm reading Colleen Hoover and I know you don't like her, but, like, don't shit on me for" and I was like, "I never said I would. Like, I'm glad you're reading." Like, sure, that's not my cup of tea, but I will never be elitist when it comes to reading. Side note.
I do love a good sci-fi.
Okay, like what?
I read recently, you know The Martian?
Yes.
I read one of his newer books, The Hail Mary Project.
I hadn't heard of that.
Really good.
Okay.
They're making a movie,
Okay.
and
I have to
Ryan
I have to
Gosling
read
is
it
gonna be
before
the
then.
lead, and
Sup?
I'm telling you that because if you read it and have the image of Ryan Gosling as the main character, it makes it so much better.
Okay.
It's really
Great pro tip. I'll add it to my TBR after this.
really, really good. I listened to it on
Mhm.
audiobook.
Okay.
And then I also just read, Dracula, like the
Okay. Yeah.
1896, like, OG one.
Okay, yeah.
And
We
it's
had to do
definitely
that. Sorry,
old
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. No, it's definitely written, like, old school language,
Mhm.
and it's definitely a little misogynistic because it's 1896,
Yeah.
but it is pretty good.
Once you got over the language, like, how long did it take for you to get over the language?
Oh, it wasn't that bad. It's just,
Okay.
like, the language is fine, it's just formal. Like, the
Okay.
writing is just very formal,
Yeah.
and it's very long. It's, like, it's not to the point. Like, the first 3 chapters are awesome, and then 4 to 7, I almost quit, and then it got
Mhm.
good again.
Yeah. I like
But Hail Mary Project's better.
I hate in the middle when so kind of again jumping around with all this stuff, and even though I think writing a book is like a great like end game, and I definitely want to do it at some point, like when just you saying like the middle chapters were like really dense and you almost quit makes me think of like I know I'm a good editor, and so like that has recently come to mind of well maybe I could do that because my least favorite thing ever is when a book can be 300 pages longer or sorry, shorter than it ended up being,
Mhm.
and it could have been a trillion times better, but instead I gave it 2 stars on Goodreads, and instead I just wanna take red pen, well, blue pen, I hate red pen, and, like, cross it all, like, out, I can't do it.
Crazy note. Blue
Yeah.
pen, I hate red pen.
Yeah. I don't know, r like, red, I feel like anyone
It's too
can
aggressive.
process this, it's too aggressive, and I know you definitely had edits on that book, and was it in red pen?
My gosh. I would send it in, I'd be like, "This is the best thing ever."
Yeah.
And you get it back, and, like, 80% of your book is in red pen, and you're like, "Fuck."
Mhm. The red just triggers something in my brain, and it, like, triggers my fight or flight,
You
I
get
don't
in,
know.
like, self-defense?
So,
That's
yeah,
funny.
seriously, so, I don't know, even I'm a great editor, I'm definitely blunt and to the point, but I think, you also need a bit of a compliment sandwich sometimes, and I think the blue pen can be part of that compliment sandwich where it's me subconsciously telling you I'm not trying to be aggressive.
Right, right. It's the underlying message of, like,
Yes.
calm, good, we're on
Mhm.
the same team here.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's really interesting that you've it's so funny because 'cause you're speaking like, you're telling me these things, and it's like, we've gotten to the same place, but we've had, like, almost, like, the opposite experiences.
How so?
of like I was never did I think about writing a book. I was not a reader. I didn't care about it. I was really bad at English. I actually won an English award in high school, but it was basically because I was a teacher's pet in English because I was bad at it. So
One of those, okay,
I was the
yeah.
only kid who read the book because I was like, I had to because I was just not good at it. And I even like when writing the book, right? Like my first thought wasn't like I need to take writing classes. I need to do this and that. I didn't prepare for it. I kind of just did it. And I think it worked out because I had read so many books. Like I knew what the style was like, right? Like I'm sure you know, like what's your favorite genre?
I would say realistic fiction.
So like realistic fiction, like I bet you know what the style is, the flow is, how it goes, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's how I was able to like write a good book without being an author who was like actively going to writing classes. But I just think it's really interesting that you're like, this is, you've always wanted to do this and you're like, still waiting for the idea to come. And then I never even thought about it. But then the idea came,
And I definitely, it's also not the fact that the idea hasn't come, but I have so many ideas, but I'm scared to be cemented in a genre, I think. And yes, I also don't know what to pick. I don't know. Like there's a story I'm writing right now that I'm honestly really attached to in the creative writing class I mentioned. And it's a realistic fiction, but it's based on people I know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no one else knows these characters, but I know these characters and that they wouldn't fit together. So, but because I know them well, I'm creating these really lively, like round characters. But then after the creative nonfiction course I took, like I was just writing stuff like on my life, but getting really focused in just like on a lens. So I like focused on the relationship with like my parents for a lot of it. And so like I wrote an entire creative nonfiction like chapter basically about all the rules my mom has made throughout my life. And she calls it MSUing, standing for making shit up. And like she makes it a verb. And so she'll, to this day, like she's always like, I'm MSUing, but like go with it. And so I wrote this whole final on like all the rules throughout my life. And I think that would be, I'm super close to my parents and like they've been formative. Like I feel like everyone's parents are formative in a good or bad way, but they've been really formative to my life. And I feel like that would be a cool homage to them, like writing a book about that. But because it takes so much time, I know that I feel like the first book, like I might never get to a second book. So I just feel like that pressure of, I don't know.
Yeah, it is a daunting task, right? Like the idea of if you pick an idea, like you don't want to spend 6 months working on it and then have to change halfway. And then if you write a book, well, what if I'm writing a sequel? And if I write in this genre, can I switch genres?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of funny. It kind of reminds me of getting like a tattoo. Do you have any tattoos?
2.
Okay. I have one. I have this on my arm. And I had said I was going to get a tattoo for like 2 years.
Okay.
So I was in the same boat where I was like, I'm going to get a tattoo. I want a tattoo. I'm thinking about it. And like, great, what do you want? I was like, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't want to pick one. Like, I'm nervous because then.
But did you have a lot of ideas and you just didn't want to pick one because it was like permanent?
It was permanent. Yeah. What if I don't like it? And my plan, I know I'm getting more like my idea is my left arm is up for sale.
Mine's the same. I have a pretty big one on the back of my arm. Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm going to get patchwork. So my idea was, okay, well, if I get one here, that it plays a part because I can't, if I get like a goose, then everything around it might look a little silly if it's not goose related, right? Yeah. And there's just way too many factors. And I kind of had to just pull the trigger and it worked out. And now.
So does that have any significant, like personal significance, or you just like really love the look of it? Like how did you pull that trigger?
How did I pull the trigger? I pulled the trigger by just saying fuck it, and I booked the session, and I was like, all right, well, I got to figure it out now. Yeah, I like kind of just gave myself a deadline. Yeah, and I like it. I like how it looks, and the funny thing is the birds don't really have any significance. The significance for me was getting my first tattoo. Yeah. So like the significance for me is like enough. The significance for me is like a reminder to take risks. Yeah. Right, and not think about it too much. Which is just getting the tattoo in the first place. And I don't think my mom's listening to this one. Thinking about getting another one this summer. Yeah, but that was another thing. My mom was not happy. I didn't tell her.
I didn't either. And then I texted, and I was like, "Hey," like after I had gotten it. Yeah. And she called me immediately, and I declined her call. I think that's the only time I've declined my mom's call in my life, and she was so mad, and it was this whole thing. And I won't ramble on about it. I do actually have a podcast episode about this because it was just such a thing. It was such an event, but I definitely want more. I think I would have more right now if artists were more available.
Yeah, they're expensive too.
Yeah, and also just like it's hard to like find a good, I don't know. Eugene artists like haven't.
I wouldn't do it here. Yeah. No offense.
Well, so
San Francisco.
Yeah. So yeah, like major cities like Portland, like maybe I don't have a car, but like maybe I could like train up or something, make it work. But all the major cities, like they're booked out months in advance. And even like in New York in the summer, like my sister and I, we were gonna go and get one. And so we knew it was like gonna be like not a lot of time, basically. It was going to be a closed window. And so we reached out to these artists months in advance, and all of a sudden the one's doing a residency in LA because he's like so popular.
Yeah.
The other one, even though we had like a mutual friend that we were hoping would get us in, and like the other one, she was like, yeah, it's going to be like $300 for like one word of script. And I'm like,
it's a whole thing now. The nice thing is it's like more like it's okay to have them now. Like it's not like you're not going to get a job because of it. But it's funny when I got mine, we pulled a prank on my parent and my aunt. So my dad knew about it.
Okay.
Because it was a Christmas gift. And
like he paid for it. Okay.
Yeah, so I got it I got New Year's basically.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean it's a Christmas gift? Christmas like it's on your body.
It was like and so what we did was my brother and I told my mom that our cousin, that she got a tattoo and she's like 18. And we said, but you can't tell her mom because they're best friends. So my Aunt Terry and my mom are best friends. And we said, you can't tell Aunt Terry, but cousin Taylor got a tattoo. And we showed her a picture of the tattoo that I got, just not on my arm, just like the picture of it. She was like, oh my gosh. She goes, Aunt Terry's going to be so mad. she was like, uh-oh. And then my cousin told my aunt, she told Aunt Terry that I got a tattoo and showed the real picture.
Yeah.
And said, but you can't tell Lisa.
Yeah.
And we were just going to wait and see who broke first. And to our surprise, they took it really well. They were like, oh, that's so funny. And they didn't break. And then I just ended up telling my mom.
Oh, I know. My mom and her sisters, they'd be running to each other 100%.
Yeah, that's what we thought was going to happen.
That's impressive.
And then she was like, but like my mom was like, you just need one though. That looks great. And I was like, no, well. And I struck a deal with her that my left arm, like from here to here, is up for sale.
Okay.
And then nowhere else is allowed to get a tattoo.
I have one on the back of my left arm, and then I have one on my back. And that one, like, yeah, the first one was like a really big thing. And then it actually ended up not looking like how I thought it was going to look. So then from there on, I'm like, we're talking about how embarrassing can things be, like when you've already had a bad mistake, honestly, like, and now I love it. And like a lot of people say, without knowing the bad story, so I know it's a genuine comment, that it's like very fitting. And so I've definitely like grown into it and I love it now. But at first I was like, this is not how I wanted it to look like. But then it's only up from there. And now like that's on my body forever. Like obviously I'm still gonna like consider things with weight and know they're gonna be there forever. But it can't really be that bad. Like especially because mine had a significance and I knew I could fall back on that and I wouldn't ever be truly upset if it did go wrong, because it was for my dad and it was for like this very fond like time in my life with him. So
you know what my dad told me? I was like, Dad, I'm thinking about getting a tattoo. And I was like kind of hoping he'd talk me out of it because I had been in this spiral for so long. He's like, dude, you should get it. Like the tattoo removal business is going crazy right now. He goes like, he would know. He was like, it'll be so easy to get it removed in like 5-10 years. And I was like, you're supposed to be my parent right now. I was like, you're supposed to talk me out of this. I was like, okay.
That's great.
How do we? Oh, we got there because the idea of like just going for it.
Okay, yeah.
And like once you do it, it's so much easier, right? Like getting your second tattoo is so much easier than the first, and like writing your second book would be easier than the first.
That's a good point.
What would make a book successful in your mind?
How I would personally feel successful with it, or
what would it be? Sales? Would it be you getting it done? Would it be your grandpa liked it? Would it be like what would be the thing you're like, okay, this was successful?
Not just getting it done, but getting it done in a way that like, I don't know, I didn't rush the process, because even though the timing is the most daunting thing about it, it's also something I like don't want to shortcut. Like it should be long, it should be a hard process. Like if it was easy, everyone would write a book, you know what I mean? Even though a lot of people have ghostwriters and AI is a thing now, and I could talk about that forever, I won't. But Yeah, I don't know. I feel it might just have to come to me. I think that finishing it is half the battle, but then the second part would be, I guess, just being happy with the product. And it's just a feeling that you won't know unless, like, it's hard to verbalize, but you know when you're shortchanging yourself, and you know when you're not happy with a product, but you're getting lazy, so you just want to cut it short. Like, you can't possibly prolong the process. And I know that if I don't do that, and if I have great round characters, and I know if I go through multiple rounds of revision, that's another thing. Like, I'm never going to make a book and have one round of revision. Like, I would need multiple.
You're gonna end up writing it like 4 times.
Yeah, okay, not the full thing, like front to back.
But like a lot of it gets, at least in my experience, right? It's like,
yeah,
there's like the revisions were more than I was expecting, right? Because like my experience with revisions has always been like, oh, I have a paper, right? And it's like, okay, change this paragraph, change this words, right? And then opposed to like, you know, it's a whole other ordeal with the book.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is, in terms of like it being the best, like it being perfect and it being the best it can be, is you do hit a point where there will always be more that can be changed and be quote unquote better.
Yeah.
And like eventually there's a point where you have to go, okay, this is what it is and this is good enough. Right? Because I agree, like you can't, 2 revisions, it's like, all right, that's not enough. But like 10, it's like that's too much. You could go on forever.
Yeah.
Right. So you kind of also have to find that little sweet spot. I think for me it was like 4. I think for me it was 4 or 5. Okay.
Yeah. 100%. There's always like a saying in the English minor department is that the writing doesn't begin until the first revision. So, I mean, it's just, I know I'm up for it. I just kind of, again, have to pull the trigger and maybe be more organized about it, because I do write out thoughts. I write out paragraphs. I have a few pages of one idea, a few pages of another idea. I just kind of have to go in one direction, but keep it organized, because I have some thoughts in my notes app. I have some on Google Docs. I have some in voice memos, for God's sake. So
that's like the interesting balance of myself, is like, I don't think about the effects of what I'm going to do, but I'm really good at getting it done. Like when I wasn't thinking like, oh, like this book is going to be so daunting and it's going to take how long and whatever feedback I'm going to get. I was like, okay, like first thing I do, what are my chapters? And then every night I got to like, you know, book out time in my schedule for this. And I was like, all right, like I'm really good at getting things done. And I don't think too hard about what the outcome is, which
I can't imagine being like that, but I'm like happy that works for you, and I'm like, definitely in all of it.
I don't never do it. So like for me, it's like I'll have a moment and I'll do really big reflection of like, okay, like 30,000 foot view. What does this mean? What would this entail? Is this worth my time? And then I get really into the weeds and I don't think about it again for like a month.
Okay.
And then I kind of come back to it.
Okay.
So it's like it happens, but every 3 to 4 weeks.
That's what I was going to say, is like, when does it kick in though? So it's after you do your free write, and then after you do like your lining out of your chapters and stuff like that. Like,
it kicks in when I hit a wall. It kicks in if I get a little burnout. It kicks in if something kind of like resets me. For example, with the content that I post, I was saying now I'm starting to do more posts that's like, you know, more me. And it was like, okay, well, you know, 6 weeks ago, I was really thinking about what should my content be. And I was okay, it's to be more self-help. And I put my head down, you know, and for 4 weeks, my content was all self-help. And I was posting twice a day on every platform. And I was like, you know, really good about it. And then I have this moment where I'm looking back and I'm like, this isn't really working. I don't feel good about this. I need to take a moment and take a step back, right? And then in that moment, I go, okay, I need to switch things up. And then I dive in again. So it's more like I'm coming up for air.
Got it.
When I need it.
It's funny how much our feelings guide our process, even if you're doing amazing and like you're making many sales on your books, or you have X amount of views on a TikTok you made. But if you don't feel good about it, you will be drawn to switch up your process or to take a breather.
Yeah. And also like we assume that when we do X, we're going to feel Y. It's like, I was like, once I finish the book, like life will be perfect.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to walk around with the confidence of someone who wrote a book. Like we're good.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, I do enjoy the idea, like, oh, I get to say I wrote a book, but it's like, I'm still the same person 90%.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't actually make as big of a difference as like you think it's going to.
Yeah.
I don't mean that for the book. I just mean in general, like when we chase these things.
I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean.
But I think it's awesome. I think it's really fun. People ask me now, like, when's the next one coming? I'm like, dude, I don't want to think about that yet. I don't know.
So you don't want to think about it yet, but you're acknowledging that you're going to write it again?
Oh, I would definitely write another one.
Yeah.
My family and my friends joke with me that now I have to write like Crush Your 30s when I turn 30.
Okay, yeah.
And Crush Your 40s when I turn 40.
That's funny.
But
that could be your whole brand.
It could be. But I'm in the same boat of, okay, I'm waiting to see what really intrigues me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I feel like something's really calling me, like then I'll write that book.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be in a place where it's like, okay, like I know I can, and I'm not going to force it. But if it comes to me, like I will do it.
Yeah. I with that though, I go back and forth of like waiting for the muse to knock on your door, quote unquote, versus like if you're not feeling it, but you still have to get something done. You know what I mean? Did you ever hit that kind of wall, like in your process where you're maybe, even though you came in guns a-blazing, really feeling passionate about it, and you haven't necessarily like lost that passion, but maybe you lost the energy, you're not feeling as inspired as you once were, and you're just kind of waiting for it to come back. Like, did you wait for it to come back, or did you work through it and make it come back?
Both. I had one like 2-month period where I just stopped writing completely. And I just got busy and I stopped thinking about it and I didn't care about it as much. And then I got back in the groove and it came back. And then the next time that feeling came, I kind of just pushed through it. But I would say like, if it's minute things, it's like you got to push through it, right? It's like, okay, well, it's like if this one chapter I'm not as passionate about, it's like, well, that's okay. Like it's a part of the bigger picture. You can push through it. But like, if I'm not feeling the bigger picture of this book and what it means and why I'm writing it, then it's like, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an issue at that point.
It's like, it's a bit of both, right? One of the things that I don't have to deal with is I'm not that far from home. I'm not Portland close, but I'm Bay close, right?
Yeah.
8-hour drive. 1-hour flight. And
do you fly home often?
No, I drive.
Okay. Damn.
But I don't mind the drive. It's
like how often a term?
Oh, never.
Like once a term?
I don't go back during the term. But
sorry, I cut you off on your whole intro.
No. But I was thinking, but you're 3,000. You're from New Jersey, right?
I'm from right outside Philly, actually.
Okay, so I thought it was Philly, but then you said New Jersey, and then I got confused.
Yes, so I'm from Villanova, which is 15 minutes outside Philly.
Okay.
Like both my parents grew up Northeast Philly. Shout out Ryan and Judge, but I work in Jersey in the summer.
Okay, the pliables threw me off.
Yes, yeah, and so like I waitress. I did the acai bowl shop as well. Do you have my LinkedIn up right now?
No, I just scrolled to the top because I had right here. I had pliable.
Yeah,
and I did look up before this. How do you pronounce that? Because I was like, I'm pretty sure it's playa, but like maybe it's playa.
Playa, yeah, people say playa. Yeah, that's
or maybe I thought maybe it was a silent L, paya.
No, it's an East Coast chain. I think they have it in Florida and stuff. So yeah, my parents grew up not exactly center city, but like my dad, like he works like Penn PD, so like he's in like center West Philly and stuff, and like all my cousins and family, like they're from Philly. So I definitely, my cousins, if they heard me talking about this right now, they would roll their eyes and they'd be like, you're not a Philly kid, like you're fucking fake. But I do, especially out here, no one knows what Villanova is.
Compared to everyone else out here, you're Philly.
Yeah, so 15 minutes outside, suddenly I'm from Center City.
I tell everyone I'm from San Francisco. I'm not from San Francisco.
Yeah.
I'm from 15 minutes outside San Francisco.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, though, and I know like the Bay Area, San Francisco people or whatever, people on Lombard Street or whatever it's called, like
yes,
they're gonna roll their eyes and be like, that's not good enough. But I mean, are you a big sports fan when it comes to what is it, the
Warriors, like the Bay, or what?
Yeah, I was thinking the Padres, but that's what, San Diego?
San Diego.
Yeah,
we have the Warriors,
San Francisco Giants. There you go.
Giants.
Yeah.
They're the Giants, and then the Warriors were in Oakland.
Yeah.
Now they're at Chase Center.
Yeah.
Which is by the water, which is really cool.
Okay.
I was never a city kid, but I just grew up there and I lived there for a little bit, and my parents lived there, so.
Yeah. And so, yeah, to everyone like out here in Philly, I mean, I'm one of the biggest Birds fans like you'll ever meet. Like Philadelphia Eagles
Congrats.
through and through. Thank you.
I'm a Colts fan. It's gonna take a while.
Tough luck.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
My family's from Indiana.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I have a lot of friends that go to Indiana University.
Oh,
or University
so
of Indiana.
Yeah, IU. Indiana University. You're right.
Okay, yeah, right the first time.
IU is really fun. It's
Yes.
crazy.
It
Talk about
is.
Greek life.
Yeah, seriously. All of my friends that go there are in Greek life, and it's just one story after another.
Yeah, I was between here and there, and it ended up being here, but because all my family goes there, my parents met there, my aunt teaches there, my grandma lives there.
At Indiana?
At Indiana University,
Okay.
yeah.
Wait,
A lot of ties there. Sorry, continue.
No, you're good, but and I always, like I say water, and, like, people catch me.
Water.
Yeah, people catch me on that all the time, and I don't know, it's again, not like I'm trying to be pick me, like, I'm not thinking about how I'm talking, it just comes out of my mouth that way, and, like, because my parents grew up there, like, it just rubs off on me, like, I learned how to speak from them, so.
How is it adjusting? Like, was it really hard coming out here?
It was both harder because I'm really close to my family and easier because I'm close with my family because without their support, I would not have survived, honestly. I didn't have a great dorm experience and I didn't have just like a great transition and the rain hit really hard, a lot harder than I even thought it would. Like it was one of the cons on the list, like when I'm weighing pros and cons and it should have been like bumped up as a more aggressive con. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I was definitely homesick, but then come spring term when I finally found my footing and found my people, it gets easier. And I don't know. I'm always like a little piece of me is like always at home and I really do love being from there. I feel like that's the other thing is people think you're running away, like you don't like your family, like you wouldn't be able to do a college where you have no direct flights to, like I need to take a connecting every time. Like Portland doesn't even go directly to Philly. So some people are like,
Does it go to Seattle?
Philly goes to Seattle. Yeah. And then you could either do it's this like whole thing. It's crazy. But people are like, wow, like you must not like your family. Like and even in high school, before I even got here, people would always joke because my older sister, she goes to school in California. She goes to Pepperdine. And so it was like 2 of 3 girls already. Like, where's the third one going to go to the West Coast? Like, they're all running away. What'd you do? But I couldn't say enough good stuff about my family. So, yes, it was hard. And it was kind of harder because I was closer with them and really missing home. But, like, man, I don't know.
What do you miss most about home that you didn't expect to miss?
That's a good question.
I expected to miss my family. Yeah. I didn't expect to miss like my local gym and like just like hanging out and seeing people that you know. Or like I didn't expect to miss like takeout food. Like I would just get takeout food with my family and like that, like just like that, those little things, right? Of like I got to make my own food now and that kind of stuff like that.
My family and I have a lot of traditions and I don't think I realized how much. And actually, the traditions is one thing. But then maybe actually just people getting my lingo. And I didn't realize how, specifically family lingo though, I didn't realize how much like other families don't quote movies like my family does. And so when I'm saying no soup for you and no one gets a Seinfeld reference, like, I don't know. I feel a little hole in my stomach.
Yeah. No, I the second you said that, I was thinking about like the other day where I was like making a joke and everyone's like, what are you talking about? It's like, oh yeah, I forget that's a family joke. Like an inside joke with my family.
Yeah.
Like, it is interesting to catch yourself do those things. And you're like, oh, wait. Or like, it's always weird going home and then like you're there for a few weeks or over summer.
Yeah.
And then you go back and you're like, whoa, like it's like going back to college for like, at least sophomore year, not as much junior year, but sophomore year coming back to college, it was like I was restarting. I was like, whoa, this feels weird.
I really agree with the starting thing, especially because I moved dorms halfway through the year, freshman year, that we don't need to get into. But like with that, I like didn't really have a solid, consistent living situation. And again, I was just finally like finding my people and getting close to them like spring term last year, I felt like. And just because all good things take time. It's not that I didn't even find people necessarily like first week of school. It's just like I needed to let those relationships marinate and like trust people and all that stuff. But so coming back this year, it felt even more like a fresh start from the lingo part, but also even from the living part where I knew I was like living here full year and it was just a different dynamic. And I don't know. And I felt really comfortable coming back then also knowing that I, again, had those people and I was just like guns a-blazing.
Yeah. Sadie, we're about out of time.
Okay.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Before we get out of here,
okay.
Would you tell us one of your favorite stories?
Okay. So I was thinking about this because, again, this is the only one you texted, and I was on the phone with my dad, and I was like, Dad, what story should I tell? And he wanted me to tell, which I'm, spoiler alert, not going to tell because it's like not appropriate for this podcast. Yeah. But he wanted me to tell the story of when my friends and I threw like a Project X party.
Nice.
Which I can tell you about later, but that like, there's no way I can filter that off of this. Right. So we're going to settle for the time where I went to the Naval Academy.
Okay.
And I also did a full podcast episode about this if anyone wants more details, but I'll tell one specific anecdote within that. So my favorite story to tell is when, okay, how do we go about this? So I was 2 or 3 days into this program. It was a 6-day program. And I had no clue what I was doing. Don't even ask me how I ended up there. There were all these like NROTC kids who are like, ROTC, they do it for high school. I didn't know that was a thing in high school. Like all these people had military parents, thought this is what I might want to do in life, thought it was going to be like a semi-easy program. But instead it was simulating the first week of plebe summer, which is the assimilation to military life they actually do for plebes going into the actual Naval Academy. So here I am 3 days into it. I'm tired. I am like so just off the grid. It's insane. My parents didn't hear from me for days, and I was waking up at 5 a.m. and I was doing all these tests and blah, blah, blah. And I will say though, for every like crazy unreal moment, like I went through an interrogation, for example, for every crazy moment or two, there was another equally funny moment that it was just like, how is this the most prestigious place in the US? So one day we were coming back from a testing, and it was like a really solemn day, and we were all sitting like family style around a table in this massive like lunchroom. And our detailer, which is like basically your camp counselor, like a bad camp counselor, who his name was literally Payne, if that tells you anything, he singles out this guy Joey in my group, and he goes like, you come with me. And he, as like a punishment for something he did earlier, he goes, you throw me the peanut butter and 2 pieces of bread right now. And he starts slathering up the peanut butter on these 2 pieces of bread. And we're like, what is going on? What is going on? It was about 2 inches thick. It was so much peanut butter, 1 in each hand. He goes, you come with me. And he hands the bread to him. And we're like, what is going down? Like we hadn't really seen this funny side of him, and we just didn't know what was going. So they start not army crawling, but army like squat walking. So they couldn't see. And like, it was lines and lines of tables of so many people. And they were all in their uniforms, like prestigious white uniforms as well. And we see that they're heading to the like executive table. It's like the commanders and the battalion XO, like the leaders of this entire Naval Academy. What are they doing? Like, why are they going in that direction? He runs up and he makes this kid sneak up on the second in command of the entire place, peanut butter him in the ears, 1 on each side. There was so much peanut butter that it stayed on his ears. Like it was stuck to his head, and they ran. And so they were like, go, go, go. And they come and they sit down at our table, and we're all like, not ducking, but wanting to, because we have to act natural, because we don't want to get punished for this. Like we don't want to have to run miles. Like it's just a scary time. You don't know what's in the rules of engagement and not. And so we're all sitting at this table, and they slide into their chairs. And they're like, act normal, act normal. And military boots, like you hear the stomping. It was like a movie. Like he was a former Navy SEAL, the dude that they effing peanut buttered. And so
that they effing peanut butter is such a great sentence.
I like forgot that I could curse on here for a second. But so anyway, he comes stomping, arms like going, and he's like, who did that? Like billowing voice. And he just kind of like was breathing in so aggressively in his nose. He almost looked like Voldemort. And he was like breathing so heavily, and he starts stomping around everyone's table. And he ended up going to the table next to us and like thinking it was them. And we all were like, haha, like fuck you. Like that sucks. So he ended up then stomping off in his big military boots with the peanut butter still on his ears, mind you. He still had 2 loaves of bread, peanut buttered, stuck in his ears as he was being intimidating. And it's really impressive when someone can have like 2 loaves of bread stuck to them and still be intimidating. And he ended up stomping out, having to take a shower, and like he figured out who it was later, and we got yelling for it. But in that moment, it was so funny, and we just like felt victorious. Like we thought we got away with it. And I always tell that story if this experience ever comes up, because again, it just feels so out of place. It feels so like these people are the next soldiers and they are perfect and pristine in every way. And yet they're all fucking teenagers, and they're all just peanut buttering people in the ears. So that's like one of my favorite stories.
That is amazing. Peanut buttering and Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Amazing. Sadie, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
This has been great. Thank you for listening, and go check out Hear Me Out podcast on Spotify and Apple Music. Spotify
and YouTube.
Go check it out.
Do it, guys.
See you next time.